Okay, we're here with quarterback Fernando Mendoza. If you have a question for Fernando, let me know in the chat and we'll call upon you. We'll get started with Jake Curtis from Cal Sports Report. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, Fernando, you performed well at home in your first one. How do you feel about going on the road at Utah now?
First of all, hello, Mr. Curtis. I think it's a great opportunity. Like I told the offensive coaches when they gave me the nod, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. I wanted to be thrown into the fire playing 2 ranked opponents as my first 2 starts. So I am really excited to play at the Utah crowd. I have my godfather who is from Utah, so he's visiting me. So I'm really excited for that. And I've heard Utah is an electric atmosphere from the other players that have played there in previous years. So I'm really looking forward to it. I played at a decently large high school, so I got some big crowds, but this is entirely different. And I know they said they have a great fan base, and I just can't wait because I know it's going to be electric and it's going to be a great opportunity. I mean, at the end of the day, these are the moments you live for. So I'm really looking forward to it.
And we'll go to Steve Croner from the San Francisco Chronicle.
Fernando, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How much has your life changed in the last 4 to 5 days?
The typical answer would be a lot. However, to be quite honest, it hasn't changed that much. As throughout the previous games, our first 5 games, I had the same process of getting ready and throughout the week kind of mapping out when I'm going to watch the team's tape and kind of how I'm going to prepare for each team. So it's been quite consistent, and I've really, in a sense, been proud of the consistent method and consistent system that I've used, whether it's watching film with Coach Spav, going over the run schemes with Coach Blesh, or going over the pass schemes with Coach Plow, or, talking about the receiver and the route technique with Coach Toller, or anything with the running backs to Coach AT. It's really just been the same throughout all weeks. However, this week, especially with Utah, and last week when I was named the starter against Oregon State, it got ramped up a little bit. However, at the end of the day, I just aim to be the same guy to my teammates and on the field as I was week 1 to now week 6 or 7.
I could follow up on that a bit, and Congrats on being the Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Thank you.
When you've walked through campus the past 3 days or been in classes, have any of your non-football fellow students treated you any differently?
I wouldn't say any differently. I think the beautiful thing about Cal and about Berkeley is how everyone is so invested in the academics. I'm very invested in academics myself. And so just throughout the campus, I got a couple of my friends who I was friends with before that are not athletes say congratulations and talk to them a little bit more. However, there hasn't really been any, as you describe it, fanfare throughout campus. So I mean, at the end of the day, that stuff, it's cool, but it doesn't really matter, and it hasn't occurred to me. So I'm just looking forward to, each week improving, because at the end of the day, that stuff goes and comes as quickly as you have one good week and one bad week. So I'm looking to stay and play consistently good football.
Good luck.
Thank you. We'll go to Thomas Dunn from Radford, California.
Good afternoon, Fernando. Coach Spav was in here yesterday and had some really high praise for you. He was saying that in your preparation throughout all of last week, you were being compared to, it was Davis Webb-esque. When you hear that phrase, how does it make you feel being compared to an NFL guy in some respects?
I mean, Davis Webb is a really, really, really high bar, as he went straight from a player to the quarterback coach of the Denver Broncos, which is just mind-blowing for myself. However, whenever Coach Spav details any of the stories about Davis Webb, it truly amazes me. And that's one of the guys that I try to idolize. 2 of his former quarterbacks I try to idolize is Will Greer, that he talks about a lot, and Davis Webb, especially being here at Cal and having a similar play style. So any tips and nuggets that I can get from Coach Spav about those 2 guys, I always take into consideration. However, me and Coach Spav, we've been preparing like no other these past 2 weeks and before then. So Coach Spav has always done a great job of, we always meet, bringing me in, kind of going over practice, going over the game plan, anything in the game plan that I have a discrepancy with or vice versa. So me and him have a really good relationship, and we're really tight, especially in the football IQ world of things, and we're able to have really deliberate and and really detailed conversations about the plays. So Coach Babb has been great and a major part of my development here. So one day I'm looking to be like Davis Webb and Will Greer.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Jake Curtis.
Fernando, 4,600 feet is the elevation of the Utah State. Have you ever played a game at elevation? And if so, how's that worked out for you?
So I have not gotten a snap in high elevation such as that. Last year we traveled to Colorado, so I was able to warm up in that elevation and essentially work out in that elevation prior to the game. And then I did a little workout after the game. However, I haven't played an entire game yet. However, the strength staff here does a great job with Coach B, Coach Zach, Coach Mario, Coach Deep, and Coach TJ. They all do a great job throughout the offseason conditioning us. And even in season, we have conditioning after practice sometimes. So I'm entirely confident in my conditioning and my ability to keep up as well as my teammates, because I know that through the conditioning we put in through the offseason and in season that we're going to fare just fine. However, it is going to be an interesting task, and I can't wait to handle it.
Okay, we'll go to Kaylin Jenwick with Cal Athletics.
Hey, Fernando. Quick question for you. After the Oregon State game, you mentioned that your dad and your two uncles had flown down to watch you play in person. Can you share just a little bit about what that post-game celebration was like with them and what your family has meant for your growth as a football player and a person throughout the years?
Yeah, for sure. So the first thing I would like to state that after the game or post-game, it wasn't a celebration, as unfortunately we did lose. So it was more of like kind of conversating with them on what I could have done better myself, as late in the game, I had a late turnover that was really easily preventable. So we talked about that and talked it through how my process can be better next time with them. But at the end of the day, they came over to my apartment. We talked for a little bit just about our family and just all things that, we just talked about with my dad and my uncle. And then after Sunday morning, we got some breakfast and then they left back to Miami. So it was really cool seeing them, and it was really cool that they were able to show their support and fly all the way across the nation for me. So I'm really grateful for them and look forward to them being able to come out to more games.
Okay, we'll go to Jake Curtis. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, what's your biggest concern regarding the Utah defense?
First off, I want to state that the defensive coordinator, Coach Scaly, does a great job there. I mean, he's been there for more than I even know. I mean, he's been there just for over a decade. I mean, he's done a really, really good job in preparing that defense. And just when I'm studying film, I know the defense is the strength of the team at the moment. So preparing for this defense, I would say it's a lot. And they're a really talented defense, really well coached, and they have amazing players. However, Coach Bav, Coach Plow, Coach Blesh, Coach AT, and Coach Toller, we're all looking to cook up some plays and cook up some schemes in order to try to exploit some of the things that we do see. However, they have some great players in the back end, such as number 8, and then on the front 7 is number 83. And they've done a great job this year, and we're looking to being able to get a fast start and exploring some of the weaknesses that we see throughout the film.
How do you remember all those coaches' names? Do you have like a list of notes there?
No notes. This is just interview notes, just about just general stats and everything. However, when we spend so much time together in the offensive staff room and throughout the facility, I mean, essentially they're my second family. I see them all the time. So it's pretty easy to remember all my offensive linemen and coaches' names as I'm with them all day, every day.
Yeah, but that's the other team's coaches too.
Yeah. I mean, when you're preparing for the team for numerous hours each day, you research a little bit about their defensive coordinator and head coach and staff. You kind of just want to see sometimes who they are, their history, previous teams they've coached, in order to kind of get a little bit more tips and tendencies from them and schemes they've coached in the past. So last week with their head coach and defensive coordinator. We did a little bit of researching there. And then this week, especially with defensive coordinator, Coach Scaly, and head coach, Coach Whittingham, done a little bit of research on them. And yeah.
Okay, we'll go to Maria Coladova with Rivals.
Hi, Fernando. It seemed like, your teammates were really rallying around you on Saturday, and that's something that Coach Spav was saying yesterday too, that they kind of love you and they give them energy, and it seems like they give you energy. So kind of how's that been for you after Saturday?
It's been great. The office this week has really been energized, and we've really been emphasizing just all of our key points that we aim to fix after the loss against Oregon State. However, those teammates, they're my brothers. So it's always great going out there, communicating with them, being energized with them, running the game on tempo, and at the end of the day, playing the game. At the end of the day, I find football really, really fun. It is a game at the end of the day, although I take it very seriously. And it's just always fun playing with those guys, as they're all just great characters on and off the field. So I can't say enough about my teammates and how they energize me. So it's kind of a two-sided wheel right there.
Okay, we'll go to Steve Kroner, and we do have a couple other interviews we got to get Fernando to, so we'll probably make this the last question. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, Fernando, you mentioned Davis Webb and Will Greer as guys to whom you look up to. I would take it right now, if not before you came here, you're aware of the history of the Cal quarterback. I mean, beyond Davis Webb, you're talking Jared Goff and Aaron Rodgers and Steve Bartkowski. I mean, I'm old enough to have seen a lot of these guys. You haven't. Has the Cal quarterback history influenced anything about your decision to come to Cal or how you've handled the quarterback job since you've been here?
The history of Cal quarterbacks has been really rich, and that's a thing that I've always appreciated about Cal. We have a sign up in the facility that Cal has the most starting quarterbacks that have started in a Super Bowl. So that's an amazing stat, and that just shows you how Cal quarterbacks are not only great in college, however, they're really successful in the NFL, and they win in the NFL as well. So that was a really big influencing factor. As I've stated before, Cal, they took a chance on me. I wasn't very highly recruited, and it was essentially my only FBS offer. So I was really grateful for that. And that, I mean, it just made it, even if there was other offers and other interests on the table, I would have chose Cal just because of their amazing academics, amazing quarterback history. So seeing those guys and especially the guys, like you said, the Davis Webb, that don't get enough of a spotlight, especially under the insane spotlight of Aaron Rodgers and Jared Goff and all those other really, really successful quarterbacks. It's really exciting to see how I can become one of those one day.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thanks. That'll wrap us up for today. We'll be in touch with you guys shortly.